For thousands of years, the Ice Age world appeared stable. A frozen balance shaped life across vast continents. Enormous ice sheets covered the land, locking water into glaciers and defining the rhythm of the planet. Temperatures remained cold, but predictable. Seasons followed familiar patterns, allowing ecosystems to adapt and endure. Across open plains and frozen valleys, life adjusted to scarcity, movement, and cold, rather than sudden change. This was not a lifeless world. It was a system in equilibrium, where survival depended on long-term stability. Gigantic herbivores roamed the steppe, shaping landscapes through migration and constant grazing over immense distances. Predators followed these movements, not through dominance, but through balance within the food web. From tundra to periglacial forests, each region developed its own version of the Ice Age ecosystem. Vegetation grew slowly, but reliably, supporting large animals year after year. Rivers followed frozen paths. Lakes expanded and contracted, and ice defined where life could exist. This stability created an illusion that the Ice Age world was permanent and unchanging. Generation after generation adapted to the same conditions, with no sign of sudden collapse. The planet had changed before, but this era felt different. Quiet, predictable, and controlled by ice. No warning signs were visible. No dramatic events broke the frozen rhythm of the land. Yet beneath this calm surface, forces were already shifting, slowly preparing to reshape the Earth. The change did not arrive suddenly. It began quietly, as temperatures started to rise across the frozen world. Small shifts in climate altered the balance that ice-dependent ecosystems had relied on for millennia. Ice sheets that once seemed permanent began to thin, responding to warming patterns far beyond human perception. As glaciers retreated, land long buried beneath ice slowly emerged, reshaping ancient landscapes. Meltwater flowed into valleys, changing river systems and redefining where life could persist. Sea levels began to rise, flooding coastal plains that had supported Ice Age ecosystems. Vegetation zones shifted northward, forcing plant communities to migrate faster than ever before. animals adapted to cold grasslands found their habitats shrinking, fragmented by warming climates and changing terrain. Seasonal patterns became less predictable, disrupting migration routes and long-established feeding cycles. What had once been a stable world entered a state of transition, where survival depended on constant movement. These changes unfolded over centuries. Yet for Ice Age species, they arrived too quickly to fully adapt. The warming climate did not destroy life, but it quietly removed the conditions that had sustained it. Ecosystems built for cold now faced an unfamiliar reality, where ice no longer defined the limits of survival. With every retreating glacier, the Ice Age world lost another layer of stability. The climate shift had begun, setting in motion a chain of changes that could not be reversed. As the climate continued to warm, the Ice Age world began to lose its natural balance. Habitats that once stretched endlessly became fragmented, isolated by changing temperatures and shifting landscapes. Open grasslands slowly disappeared, replaced by environments unsuited for large, cold-adapted animals. Water sources grew unpredictable, alternating between floods and prolonged seasonal dryness. Food resources declined unevenly, forcing animals to travel farther in search of reliable nourishment. Long-established migration routes no longer aligned with the changing distribution of vegetation. Energy demands increased, while survival opportunities became increasingly limited. Young animals faced greater risk as unstable environments reduced the chances of successful reproduction. Predator and prey relationships shifted, not through sudden conflict, but through gradual ecological stress. Ecosystems once shaped by ice now struggle to function without the conditions they depended on. These pressures accumulated slowly, pushing species toward thresholds they had never experienced before. Adaptation required time, but the Ice Age world was running out of it. What followed was not chaos, but a quiet unraveling of systems built for cold stability. Each environmental shift made survival more difficult, even for species once perfectly adapted. The Ice Age ecosystem had entered a fragile state, where balance could no longer be restored. As environments continued to change, the largest Ice Age animals began to disappear from familiar landscapes. These losses did not occur suddenly, but unfolded gradually, often unnoticed until absence became clear. Population numbers declined, not through dramatic events, but through sustained environmental pressure. Large-bodied species required vast territories and resources, both of which were becoming scarce. Reproduction slowed as energy demands increased, reducing the ability to recover lost numbers. Small, isolated groups became separated from one another, weakening genetic resilience over time. Some species vanished region by region, leaving behind empty habitats once heavily shaped by their presence. Predators dependent on large prey were forced to adapt, migrate, or decline alongside them. The disappearance of megafauna altered ecosystems deeply, changing vegetation patterns and soil dynamics. Without large grazers and browsers, landscapes began to transform, often in ways that could not be reversed. Fossil records preserve these moments of loss, marking when species last appeared on Earth. Radiocarbon dates reveal a narrowing window where survival became increasingly unlikely. Extinction was not a single event, but a process shaped by long-term environmental change. By the end of the Ice Age, many giants had vanished, leaving silence where abundance once existed. Their disappearance reshaped the planet, setting the stage for a world without Ice Age giants. When the ice finally retreated, the world that emerged was no longer an Ice Age world. Vast glaciers disappeared, revealing landscapes reshaped by thousands of years of frozen pressure. Temperatures stabilized at warmer levels, creating climates unfamiliar to Ice Age ecosystems. Forests expanded, grasslands shifted, and environments once shaped by ice took on new forms. Many ecological roles left behind by extinct megafauna were never fully replaced in this new world. The absence of large animals changed how vegetation grew, how soils formed, and how landscapes evolved. Some species survived the transition, adapting to warmer climates and increasingly variable environments. Prehistoric humans persisted, not as rulers of nature, but as survivors within a transformed world. Their presence expanded as Ice Age conditions faded, marking a shift in ecological influence. The end of the Ice Age did not signal recovery, but the beginning of a new balance. This balance was shaped by loss as much as survival, by absence as much as adaptation. Fossils and landscapes remain as quiet records, preserving evidence of a vanished world. The Ice Age reminds us that stability is temporary, and change can redefine life on a planetary scale. What followed the ice was not an ending, but a transition that still shapes Earth today. The Ice Age ended, but its legacy remains, written into the land, the climate, and the history of life.